In this final lesson, we'll learn how to explain these decisions clearly to clients and designers without sounding too techy or defensive. So I think it's important to put in just a small communication segment because one of the hardest parts of correct implementation and protecting LED longevity isn't making the right decision, it's sometimes explaining it. Electricians are often expected to justify pauses and changes or escalations without sounding overly technical or defensive or offensive. And this lesson gives you a simple professional language you can use to explain longevity-driven decisions in a way that builds trust instead of friction. Um, I'm saying this because sometimes people just get offended for whatever reason. They get offended when you bring things across. And in order to have good buy-in, just some communications to speak more about outcomes, not really components. Clients don't care about drivers and voltage drop limits. They really care about how it would look over time by you giving that guarantee and how reliable it would be or whether problems could be avoided later. So on longevity, you could probably use something like, this will look good now, but in this small adjustment will help it look the same years from now. Or if it's brightness, you could just say, we're setting this for comfort and longevity or not just maximum output or burnout or excessive strain on the LED. If it's about controls, you could say extra controls options add complexity. We're into keeping long-term reliability, so let's just keep it simple, stupid, or let's not use a wall dimmer, let's use a wireless dimmer that might be easier so you could control all your lights with one switch as opposed to having multiple switches. In case of dealing with other stakeholders higher than you in the command chain, you could say this is a case where we need an engineering review because this could protect the outcome and avoid issues later. Something doesn't sound right, or in my experience in a past job, this and this happened. So use an example to bring that conversation together. So confidence in this system that we've done and repeated this process from time and time again. And it was developed based on how do we minimize failures in our business within a growing company, and how do you train your staff to think and approach LEDs. And that's how this ABCDE framework evolved. And as a business owner, S, the ABCDEs. S is having a good source supplier, that it's accountable, but giving my staff that framework from A all the way to E has given them remarkable confidence and clarity and not just technical details. So everything is based on real world examples, and they have that story to tell why we have to do it this way. And we've seen a lot of pushback disappear simply because decisions were framed around future outcomes and appearance and reliability, not just technical risk. Thank you. In this final lesson, we'll learn how to explain these decisions clearly to clients and designers without sounding too techy or defensive. So I think it's important to put in just a small communication segment because one of the